Here we go. And right away, the visual look is fantastic.
He entered a world where fantasy is real, where he could be anything he wanted, and where he would discover the most dangerous temptation of all.
Come and get me, boys.
So, real quick, the plot, very basically, Ewan McGregor is a poet who wants to write a play for this theater, Moulin Rouge, and he ends up falling in love with a prostitute played by Nicole Kidman, and she mistakes him as the Duke at first, and it's a whole misunderstanding. Anyway, we'll just continue the trailer. I'll get more into it in a bit.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
The music I mostly loved. I liked the styles they picked most of the time for the songs. Sometimes when there was like a club beat, it just took me out of it because it's supposed to be the 1900s, and it's okay if you do these songs. At least it works for me. If you do these songs these contemporary songs, contemporary enough anyway, like popular music. If you're gonna do these songs, in this time, then at least make it sound like it could maybe be from this time, which they do most of the time. It's like orchestral, and not so. But there's some, like when they do Lady Marmalade and stuff, it's a little more club beaty, and it doesn't sound quite right to me. But and it just takes me out of the air a little bit. It's still, to be fair, the songs are still, they're all good. It's just sometimes they took me out of it. Anyway, moving on.
I believe you were expecting me.
Yes.
I did not like that movie. I like this movie much more than Romeo and Juliet. I hate it for one reason, but it's a big reason. I just don't like that. I like the concept in general of doing a modern version of Romeo and Juliet set in the 90s. But then they just use the actual scripture, and it just, like, they wouldn't talk like that, and they're calling swords guns, and I just didn't, like, if you're gonna go the full Monty, do the full deal, do the full meal deal, you know what I mean? Take it all the way, because he, like, met it in the middle, and a lot of people like that movie, that interpretation. I do not. Anyway, moving on.
Silly. Think you would fall in love with someone like me.
I like
can't
this
fall in love
movie.
with anyone and make men believe what they want to believe.
She makes people believe what they want to believe, because she's a hussy. I'm just kidding. But, well, I mean, she's playing a prostitute, to be fair. But still, there's a lot of talk, like ooey gooey talk about love, and they, like, I get that's the point. It's a romantic movie, but fuck, they must say love like 50,000 times in this movie. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but they say it a lot. And it's just like, okay, I get it. They beat that one a little bit hard for me. Beat that horse on the head a little bit too much, but I get it. Right? It's supposed to be romantic, so we gotta say love a bunch.
I could feel like this. I believe in truth, freedom, and above all things, love.
See, saying it, and even in the trailer, love. I believe in love. Love is the most important thing. Love. Okay, anyway.
I've never seen the sky.
You're gonna be bad for business. I can tell.
I see, Roxanne. This was an example of a song I did like, because it was more orchestral. I liked the version worked for it. It didn't take me out of it. I liked it.
I am willing to provide the financial resources to make you a star.
You don't have to wear that dress tonight.
I require a contract that binds Satine to me exclusively.
And yeah, obviously the Duke is the bad guy. He wants to get with Nicole Kidman, and he sort of basically holds the club ransom. He's like, I will finance this play, but you have to basically whore out Nicole Kidman to me. And Ewan McGregor is the poor playwright who wants to marry Nicole Kidman, obviously, because they love each other. But the Duke is the evil rich guy who wants to get in the way of that, of course. Um, and the play that he writes is basically a story telling what's happening in this movie, but it's just done in a different way. Um, they basically telling the story of Aladdin in their play, actually, which is, this is similar to Aladdin in a lot of ways too, because it's like, Jafar wants to get with Jasmine. Jafar is kind of like the Duke in this, and Nicole Kidman's like Jasmine. There's just no magic carpet rides or anything like that.
He could destroy everything.
I don't care. We have each other.
Nicole
Make Christian
Kidman.
believe you don't love.
And yeah, the visuals are fantastic. Say what you will about this movie, but it looks great throughout. I love the models, the shots. Everything looks beautiful in this movie.
You'll fight for me.
Hurt him to save him.
Whatever happens, no matter how bad things get, we love one another.
Kill the boy.
Only one rule. Never fall in love.
This story is about love.
Like, do you see what I mean though? Even from the trailer, like this must have said like 10 times in the trailer alone, or at least showed it on paper. Is ridiculous. But I get it, but it's a little much.
At the Moulin Rouge.
The Moulin Rouge, and that's of course what the club is called, with new music by Christina Aguilera, Lil Kim, Maya, Pink, Beck, David Bowie, Fatboy Slim, Valeria, and more. I think it's just different versions of pre-existing songs, but I guess that counts. Just doctored versions of old songs. Alright, so that was the Moulin Rouge trailer. Let's look at the Rotten Tomatoes. 75%. That's pretty good. Do I agree with that? That's about right, maybe, yeah. 89% for the audience score, I think, is pushing it a little bit. But it was good, and it's visually fantastic. But the story is sort of been done before by the numbers, but I think that's sort of the point. They just wanted to take this classic story and make it look really great and have some fun with the songs and stuff. So I get that. Critics' consensus: a love it or hate it experience. Moulin Rouge is all style, all giddy, over the top spectacle, but it's also daring in its vision and wildly original. Well, it is wildly original in some aspects, but not so much in the plot. I would. There's lots of shit like this, and they sort of like make that point that he's writing the same story basically in the play that he's making in the movie. But yeah, Ewan McGregor, Nicole Kidman, John Leguizamo. I thought I recognized him. Yeah, everybody does a great job. Let's read some of these reviews. Let's read some of the bad ones. It's still one of a kind, we'll give it that. But its sense of fun is so relentless and excessive. You see, I kind of get what they mean by that, but I think that the other elements elevated enough to be a good movie. It all ends up being extremely tedious and shallow. And again, I can kind of see what they mean. I don't know if I exactly agree, but I can see that viewpoint. I'm not going to read all these. Let's go to... we're doing our own review here. 7.6 out of 10. Again, that's pretty similar to the 75% Rotten Tomato score. But I think that that's fair. This movie's pretty good. Like, I really love to look at the whole movie. I'm just like in awe about how great it looks. The visuals are just, there's always something fun to look at. A cool model, lots of crazy camera movement. Very good visuals in the film. But I mean, we looked at the cast a little. Ozzy Osbourne, Oh my god, he's the Green Fairy voice. I did not catch that. That's really cool. Who else? Is there anybody else I missed that was a big deal on this? I don't think so. John Leguizamo, Ewan McGregor, and Nicole Kidman are who I knew the best in the film. $50,000. Oh, 50. I was like, there's no way this was made for $50,000. 50 million, of course. And the gross worldwide is 184,935,000. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. They obviously made a lot of money off that. So that's decent. And I think that's it for the IMDb page. So let's bring my head up. Let's blow me up again. Make me bigger. All right. Looks good. Boom. But damn diddy. Oh. There's a little tiny sliver you can see of the display behind. Boom. I think that's good. Okay. Rock and roll party, go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Okay. The movie, Moulin Rouge. So, the elements that I failed to mention. Overall, the movie is just visually, that's the main point, is that it just looks so great. It's on Disney Plus if people want to watch it. I really liked all the performances, were pretty fun. Nicole Kidman, she is good, and I can't deny she does a good job in the role. I just don't, she doesn't excite me that much, and just with her acting that much. In general, like I feel like there are better leading ladies, but you know what? She does a great job still, though. I can't deny it. Better than I could do for sure. But it just seems like compared to some of the other leading female actors, like off the top of my head, Jennifer Aniston or Drew Barrymore or Cameron Diaz. They all, to me, a little more charisma or something about them. But anyways, enough of bashing Nicole Kidman. I don't hate Nicole Kidman. There's way worse actors in there, but just a little meh, just a little boring to me. Anyways, moving on with the review. What are there little moments that I want to talk about in the film? There's lots of good stuff with the Duke. There's lots of funny bits. I laughed out loud for some of the jokes. I can't really remember them off the top of my head. But there's one part that I thought was kind of... It almost pissed me off because I was like, how is he not getting this? How is the Duke not understanding what's going on with Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman? They're clearly messing around behind his back, even though she's still leading him to believe that they're going to be together because she has to fund the production and fund the theater. But the whole time she's banging Ewan McGregor. And it's so obvious because the story that he's written is basically the story of him being in love with Nicole Kidman, but there's this rich, powerful man like the Duke that is getting in between them. So it's basically the same story. And again, like I mentioned before, it's kind of like Aladdin. But that being said, I still, I really liked this movie overall. But that was a stupid sort of moment where he clearly should have figured it out, and they take it so far. He finally gets it, obviously, but the reaction seems weird. He of course wants Ewan McGregor killed eventually, and that honestly part is kind of exciting. It's like, oh, are they gonna kill him? What are they gonna do? Obviously, he's not gonna die, but you still want to see what's gonna happen. Because he's telling the story. He's writing this whole story. That's how we're hearing it or watching it, rather. But, yeah, overall, I think we can end the review. I'm running out of stuff to talk about. So, the movie is very visually stunning. It looks so good. The shots are fantastic. I can't say that enough. But the story is maybe a little lackluster. It's a little heavy on the cheesiness sometimes when they just keep talking about love. It's like, oh, love, and it's like, okay, I get it, like a little bit of that, but there's a lot of that. But the visuals, I think, are enough alone to drive home that it is a good movie. Wouldn't mean like my top 50 or anything like that, but I've liked it, and I'm gonna give it a decent rating because I think it's pretty good. Um, just the things that I mentioned about the plot maybe not being the best. That's one of the other main points, but overall the visuals reign supreme. The performances are pretty good. They do what they can with this material, especially with the fun visuals. But anyway, let's give it 7.8. You know what? No, I feel more like 7.6. Let's take it down a couple. I think that's fair. I liked it, but it's not perfect. And I would recommend it if you haven't seen it like I hadn't. It's on Disney Plus. Moulin Rouge, 7.6 out of 10 Dougs.